Broadway Interludes presented by Art Lab. I'm your host, Megan Chocolace, and today I am joined by Bridget Beirne.
Hi!
Hi, Bridget!
It's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you too.
What a fun time.
Oh, thank you for joining us in our studio today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, to kick things off, I'd love to ask, how did your theatrical journey start?
Yeah. My theatrical journey. I always say I knew what I wanted to do from when I was a very small child. I grew up in the great state of New Jersey. So when I was a kid, we would get all of the New York City commercials, right, that would come on TV. And there was one commercial that was like, do you think you can be in movies or whatever, kids? Tell your parents to come to this audition, you know? And at that point I was like, wait a second. So I kind of always knew. I was lucky enough that I grew up in a public school in New Jersey that had a really wonderful theater department. And so I was able to really explore and learn and figure out that this was something that felt really right. And while I was in high school, I got a beautiful glossy brochure, like a little ring binder brochure, and I'll never forget, there was a gal in the front, beautiful gal, and she was going like this, of course, right? But it was a brochure for the Boston Conservatory.
Oh, yeah.
And I flipped through and said, oh wait, I can do this for a job. I could go to school for this. I could do this forever. And that's kind of where I really jumped in from there. I went to the conservatory and trained there, and then moved to New York, as one does.
As one does.
Yeah.
Now, at what point, or should I say, what show or performance did you think to yourself, like, wow, I'm really doing it, like, this is my big break?
Yeah. I had two that really kind of turned my head a little, and one was a beautiful production of Violet that I did when I was actually still in college, and I did it with Speakeasy Stage Company in Boston, and remembered that was the first paycheck I got for acting. And I thought, wow, I'm playing this amazing part in this incredible show, and I'm leaving dance class and going through Boston to the theater and feeling like, oh wow, this feels like a thing. Wow. And then when I came to New York, I was lucky enough to do a beautiful production of Lizzie Borden, a musical written by a fabulous composer named Chris McGovern. And it's a stunningly gorgeous show, directed by Bill Castellino. And we did it at the Norma Terrace at Goodspeed. And that was a big transition for me, feeling like, oh, and this is what the New York scene feels like. This is how this goes. So those were kind of entry points for me that I was like, okay, all right, this is happening.
Yeah.
Something's happening.
Something.
Yes.
Now, for those of you at home who don't know, Art Lab was previously known as Fiddlehead Theater Company, which was out of Boston and ran for, 25 years?
Yes. Yeah.
And you've done a lot of shows with them.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. Now, would you like to talk about a few of those roles?
Yes, I would love to. During my time in Boston, I was lucky enough to meet the fabulous Meg Foffanoff, who is a wonderful dear friend of mine who I adore. But way back in the day, we met because Meg was doing a production of My Fair Lady. Oh. And I kind of said, I'm gonna go and audition, and not knowing what was gonna happen, I played Eliza Doolittle with them, and it was a magical production. I remember just these beautiful magical things that happened with the set. Getting to play that role as someone who I might not have been everybody's first choice for Eliza Doolittle, but it felt so in my heart. We had a wonderful, wonderful cast, and it was a beautiful, beautiful production, beautiful time. When I believe that was the show that we had a performance during the World Series. and the Red Sox were in the series, and the theater was big and beautiful, an old vaudeville house where Fiddlehead was, and we have this big audience, hanging on every word of the show, except for one guy who's got the game in his ear, and all of a sudden we hear yes come out of it. Oh God! Oh. but that's when the Sox are in the series in Boston. But it was wonderful. It was a beautiful, beautiful time, beautiful show. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, what other shows have you done?
Yeah, we also did Funny Girl, which was a fabulous a show that now is on Broadway, right? But doesn't often get done.
Right. I never see it. I never see castings.
Yeah, and the vision behind the show was beautiful and so pared down, so that when you started the show and you were seeing the Ziegfeld girls, the whole kind of all the curtains and everything were gone from the set. So what you saw was this beautiful brick interior of this gorgeous vaudeville house, and it just looked like all of this was coming out of a dream. It was absolutely gorgeous, and that's a big kind of monster of a show. It's a big show,
especially when you're Fanny.
It's
by the way,
it's there's a lot of show there, and the things that were done because Fiddlehead believed when you do something, it's worth doing right, and it's worth living up to a vision, which is what Art Lab believes too, right? Yeah. That making art takes work. It's not easy, right? So anything worth doing is worth doing par excellence, and that production of Funny Girl was beautiful.
Now, do you have any other roles from Fiddlehead?
Any other roles from Fiddlehead? I'm trying to think. We've done lots of different things together during the years. Meg and I have done kind of lots of special events, but one big thing that also we did was Closer Walk with Patsy Cline.
Oh, that's right!
Yes. Which was, I've now played Patsy 3 times. I play Patsy a bunch in different shows. Love Patsy. And Meg was the first one to mount our specific production of A Closer Walk with Patsy Cline. And getting to tell that story of this woman who was so much a trailblazer in what she did, and that won so many hearts. Right. People just fell in love with Patsy Cline, and of course she had a tragic end, but a beautiful life before that end. Yeah. So we had great fun, and Meg and I had lots of fun finding costumes at times and listening to country music and donning Western wear, just because why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Give me some boots.
That's right. Yes, put on the boots.
Now, a little bird also told me that Bridget actually performed at the Art Lab launch event. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct.
Oh, can you share about that? Who could
have told you that? That was a fabulous time when Art Lab was kind of kicking off all of its amazing endeavors, and it was at the MBL in Falmouth on Cape Cod. It was kind of a beautiful collaboration talking about art and science and nature and oceanography, and it's just beautiful stuff. And I sang some tunes to kick things off, as well as Jeremiah James, who also did, who's just stunningly fabulous. And we had a great party to celebrate what was to come for Art Lab.
And here we are.
Woo! Yes.
Now I have to ask, what have you been up to recently? Any upcoming roles or projects?
Yeah. So I, a few years back, flipped my commute around, and I now come into New York from New Hampshire. I live in Peterborough, New Hampshire. And I have been lucky enough to spend a lot of time working at a fabulous, fabulous theater, which if you don't know about it, look it up, find it, learn about it, called the Peterborough Players, which has been around for almost 90 years.
Oh, wow.
And has had amazing people on its stage, folks like Jim Whitmore and Jane Howdy-Shell and amazing, amazing actors and an amazing history in this theater. So I've been lucky enough to work with them. I was in their last summer season, and it's amazing the kind of work that gets done when the work is the most important thing. Yeah. You know, so they might do anything from a fabulous new play that nobody has seen yet, to a big musical that everyone knows and loves. This summer we did an absolutely stunning production of Cabaret.
Oh, amazing.
So that was something that we're really happy and really proud of. And my partner Tom Fry is actually the new artistic director of the Players, and I certainly should mention him because that would be awkward, wouldn't it? To just leave him out. Anyway, so he's doing wonderful work at a theater that for many, many years was run by my friend Gus Kaikkonen, who did amazing work. So that's been some stuff that I'm up to.
Come on, Stuff.
Yes, Stuff. Be there.
Okay, so we've talked about a few of your roles that you've played.
Yeah.
Do you have an overall favorite role out of all of them? That can be like community theater. That can be as a child when you were spoon number 2 in Beauty and the Beast. Like,
love
please
spoon
share.
number 2. Yes. I love that. I have a few. It's hard because every time you do something, you fall in love with part of it. Right? And I often joke that the older I get, the parts with few lines where you come in and you just and you leave and it's great fun, right? It's wonderful. But one of my favorite things that I've ever done actually was at Peterborough Players. Quite a few years back, I did a production of a play called Constellations by Nick Payne, which is a gorgeous two-hander that tells the story of a relationship, but it's taking place in the multiverse, kind of. So you see these people reenact different moments in their life. You see a scene one way, and then you see a scene another way, and then you see a scene a third way. So that was really fabulous and fun to work on. I have a picture in my kitchen of that production of My Fair Lady we talked about, which was really something special and magical that, you know, I look at and smile so often. And in 2021, I guess I did a beautiful production again with the Players of Our Town that was done outdoors on site in Peterborough, which is often looked at as one of Thornton Wilder's great inspirations for Grover's Corners. Yeah. It was a beautiful production with Gordon Clapp as the stage manager and an astounding cast. And when you get to tell good stories, it's the best. It's the best thing you can ask for.
Now, do you have any dream roles that you've yet to play that you would love to?
That I would love to. So many times I see things and I think, I should write this down because that's someday somebody's going to ask. A bunch. I would love to do Next to Normal. I would love to get to do the Drowsy Chaperone again. That's something that I've done in the past that I love. What I'm finding now as I'm transitioning into a different point in my career. So I'm starting to rediscover and explore all these fabulously fun roles that now, are kind of more possibilities. Yeah. Madam T, things that are fun and that you really get to dig into in a different way. So
fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, one last question. Would you please sing for us?
I would love to sing for you.
Okay, brilliant. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
To the piano.
To the piano we go. Yes, indeed.
As we stumble along on life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking stumble along. It's a dismal little world in which we live. It can bore you till you've nothing left to give. 7 overrated wonders, 7 underwhelming seas, 6 excruciating continents, Antarctica. Oh, please. Still, you mustn't let it lick you. This planet, oh so bland. Keep your eyeball on the highball in your hand as we stumble along across life's crowded dance floor, as we push and we shove, we live and we learn, and when we finally leave the bar and we see that morning star, we will pull our bootstraps up and homeward turn. Then we slide away through dawn's blinding sunbeams, barely knowing right from right, left from wrong. But as long as we get here, that little bluebird will be a song as we stumble along, as we stumble, bumble, fumble, palumble, as we stumble along.
Yay!
You.
That was
Thank
amazing.
you so much. Thank you. Fun to get to do a bit of Drowsy Chaperone, having just talked about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Megan. Thank you, Art Lab, for having me.
Of course, anytime. We love Bridget. And thank you for watching. This has been Broadway Interludes presented by Art Lab. See you next time. Bye.